So SnapSound is a boutique sound design company based in Los Angeles. We basically work with a variety of filmmakers all over the world really, but a lot of folks in Los Angeles and New York, mostly independent films and documentary films. And we've got a really amazing team that I work with that just really specializes in doing really beautiful sound design for various kinds of storytelling, and that's really what we're about. So when we first built the studio about 11 years ago, we were very careful to install the same monitors in all of the rooms. We built the rooms to be as close to each other as possible from a physical point of view, but we ran into basic translation problems that you're going to run into no matter what you do if you're not tuning the rooms. At the time, I really had no idea what calibration how that would affect the quality of the mix, but one thing I did consistently run into was this sensation of feeling that the more I was doing to try to fix problems in the mix, let's take dialogue for instance, if I was trying to equalize a problem that I was hearing in the dialogue, it felt as though the more I tried to do to it from a mixing point of view, the worse it sounded everywhere else outside of the studio. And so I basically came to the conclusion that there must be something inherently wrong with the way that we were monitoring, and that's when we came across Trinnov. My first experience with it was actually through demoing an MC Pro, and I found that it was a miraculous change. I mean, the difference between monitoring with and without it. At first I didn't even understand what it was really truly doing and how that was affecting the sound, but after I had the opportunity to mix through that a couple of times and then hear the work elsewhere, I started to realize that it actually was saving me a tremendous amount of time, because a lot of the things that I was doing as a mixer were compensating for problems with the room, and I didn't realize that. And so once I had the opportunity to work that way, I realized, oh, I can actually cut down on the amount of time that I'm spending mixing a lot, and can really produce something that I'm very proud of and know in the room that what I'm hearing is representative of how it's going to sound elsewhere. The experience that I've had has been that I'm able to mix in this smaller room, and because it's calibrated so well, and because I'm listening to the mix on monitors that are larger and more cinematic sounding, I'm able to then go to a larger theatrical dub stage and hear something right off the bat that sounds very similar to what I mixed. And it's the impact of the sound is the same. The choices that I made from a mixing point of view about dynamics and about equalization and the color of the sound are relatively the same because the room is properly calibrated. And so it's really amazing because you can work in a smaller room and then show up in a large room and hit play, and it basically sounds like what you mixed. I basically connected everything, ran through the same sort of basic procedures that I did when I was setting up the DMON a few years ago in our 5.1 rooms, ran a generic calibration, and right off the bat had something that was very close to what I wanted it to sound like. And then when Dolby came in, they brought in their own calibration equipment to measure what the room was actually doing, and then gave recommendations as to how we could further improve the sound beyond what I had done myself with the original calibration. And the kinds of changes that we made were 1 to 2 dB in certain specific frequencies that for their standards and their expectations for the quality of type of specification that they have that they expected for us to try to fulfill. And so we just basically tweaked the target curve to handle that, and it was a fairly, the whole process took about 2 hours. From the moment that they set up their microphones to the moment that we had a great sounding system that met the measurement expectations that they had, it was really about 2 or 3 hours at most, which is kind of amazing. It was without a doubt the most remarkable investment. The return on the investment was beyond anything I could possibly imagine. I mean, it changed the quality of our work. Like fundamentally, it was a night and day difference. It's nice to be able to to spend less time worrying about problems and more time just enjoying the work of mixing and just appreciating it and being able to enjoy listening, because what you're listening to is really a beautiful natural sound.